Right, morning tubers. Before we take the Big Africa Twin out, I've got for the day today. Now, we went out on a ride home on her yesterday, and I've got to say, I was impressed with her. There's no ifs or buts, and people who've seen my video realise it is an absolute fabulous bike. And I'm comparing it to my NC because that's what I ride every day in the DCT gearbox. This bike is a different bike. It has the traits, it's a motorcycle, it has the traits of the DCT. The DCT gearbox on this is without doubt a more refined gearbox and engine than the 750 because it's an 1100cc. The gears are smoother. It's been completely redeveloped. This year for this model has been redeveloped, and I think if you own this you'd be extremely happy. But I think this bike comes in at and I think that's as it is. I don't think there's panniers, I don't think there's all the kit that goes with it. Riding it is a beautiful bike to ride. The torque and the power that is put down on this bike is just a lovely place to be. But for me, and this is for my age group and for the way I ride a bike, I would never get the best out of this bike. The main thing for me would be the actual weight of it. That would be the first thing. The second, and I sat about this last night and I was thinking it over and over last night in my head. What's the part I dislike about it the most that would say to me, leave it be? And it is the instrument cluster. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 buttons to press on one button. And it's not just that, it's like where my hand is now, that's a flasher, and you've got your gloves on. That is a big old cluster. When I get the NC back, I will show you. But what I've done, so we've got a cluster there that is 3 inches wide by 4 inches deep. The other side I have, now I need to measure mine because I don't know it. Let's just put you somewhere where you're not going to fall off, because this is my new camera, and anyone that does YouTubing knows this stuff isn't cheap. So from handlebar to handlebar, it's 35 inches. So just short of 3 foot. Now I'll have to measure what it is on the NC. It's probably more or less the same. I think it may be a case that it's because the bars are straight. They're much more straight and they're much more upright than the NC. It's like I say in the NC, when you get on the NC, you sit into the NC. But we're going to take her out again. We're going to take her on a few more lanes, a bit of a better ride, and have our view on it then. But I don't want this to be a negative video, because you know there's people out there that have got these and they ride them. When I went on the Wildbad, there were so many of these that people have and love them. You know what I mean? And they are just an absolute built bike. They will leave any NC when it comes to gravel tracks or off-road or proper adventure riding. That's where this bike will just absolutely leave it for dead. And it's what you, if you do that a lot, then yeah, there's, you know, go out and buy it. And it's, I suppose it's irrelevant when it comes to price, because most people that will buy this bike, not many people I would have thought, will walk into a Honda shop and say, here's 18 grand down in cash to buy the bike, unless you're a millionaire. Most people like me will go in, they'll put a fair deposit down, and they'll pay a PCP a monthly, or they'll HP it for a couple of £100 a month, and they'll have a bike that is totally reliable. And it, you know, I was reading last night on MTN on the reviews of people. They've got 4 out of 5 reviews on them, although the NC's got a 5 out of 5. Just to let you know, they've got a really good review, a lot bigger review, a lot bigger following than the NC. But for me, at this moment in time, the NC just is the bike I prefer. And even after riding this, I've loved every minute in the seat on this. But I still prefer the NC. I think the NC rides better on the motorways. I think it rides better down the side roads. Doesn't come close to it on the track. It's not got as much power. But I can tell you now, I mean, I would love to go out. If there's any NC rider, any Africa Twin riders out there that would like to come out for a ride, and we could just do a comparison on roll-on speed tests together on the bikes, I'd love to do that. So if someone would do that, I would really appreciate it, because we know the Africa Twin would win, but by how much? Do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking when I overtook that car going down through Earlham, I thought, it's powerful, yeah, it's done it, but the NC does it. The NC isn't, people say it's sluggish, you've got to think about it. It is not sluggish. That DCT gearbox on that NC it's superb. It needs to be better. I mean, it's like anything. It's one of them, isn't it? If you want to go up for the full power of this, then you buy the NT. But then you buy the NT, you're buying a big bike. You're buying a lot of fairings, and we'll have it today when I'm pulling this bike out of here. This is a much bigger bike for me to get out my doors. My gates are 7'6" wide, so the gates are roughly just short of 4 foot wide each. And this was squeezing in last night, so I've got to pull it out with me and the bike. I don't have any issues like that with the NC. I can just get hold of it and roll it. The other big thing that you have on this is the weight is up high on it. You can feel it. In fact, let's just do one thing. Rolling it around the garage. Now, here it's quite good. It's really light, believe it or not. And if you look back on my videos, I've owned the GS1200, and that, to be honest, is better than the GS1200 to roll about. It is better, but it is, especially when you come into brake to stop, there's a lot of weight there. There's a lot of weight at that front. Now, I suppose, like anything, the other side is how tall you are. I mean, on this now, it's roughly 33.5 inches. It's more or less straight up now. .46 inches to the handlebars. As I say, please don't think I'm slating this bike, because, like I say, I would have one. You know, if it was if I could have this and the NC together, I could afford them both. I would have one. There's no ifs or buts about it. But like I say, for what I do and for how I use my bike, the NC is a better bike for me. I've got to be honest, on the side of the dash, it's just too long-winded. There's just too much on it. We've become just, I mean, I want to get on my bike and start it. It's like being at work, waiting for the PC to turn on. You don't want, alright, we've got to have a bit of patience. But again, the dash is clear. The dash is really, really clear. It's a really, the dash is much better than the NC. And I think the next NC will get this sort of dash on it. It will get this proper TFT, which will lift it. But again, the amount of stuff that you've got there. And there is a slight delay. Well, there was there. And that's quite good. It tells you the stand's down on it. Little flashing stand. So gravel, urban. Now someone said to me on the comments yesterday, user 2 mode is the best mode to be in. Fuel wise, I can't tell you, but they give it me with a full tank, and it said 217 miles. Now I've not done a lot on this bike, so it's supposed to be 310 miles to a tank. So if you're only getting 217 miles on this bike, it becomes an expensive bike to ride, because you've, like I say, you've got a 5.3 gallon tank on there. And I have seen the likes of Richie V filling it up. I fill my bike up, it's £16, and I'm getting 250 miles on every run on £16. But I do like the dash. It's certainly got all the gizmos, but for me, again, I get on my bike and I just ride it. Now the other side was over here. Here is where the heated grips are. So you need an absolute degree in using that dash. And again, younger generations, I think, will love it. And I'm an IT guy and I like IT, but when it comes to riding bikes, I just want to get on my bike and ride it. The instrument cluster on the NC, it's easy. I found yesterday, it's like doing things, it's like the indicator, your thumb with your gloves on, getting away the horn as well. The pedals, and this is where the seamless side of this gearbox is. When you drop down a gear on this bike, you don't feel it. You just see the gear drop down. With the NC, you drop it down and you can feel that difference. Now this has still got, as soon as you drop it down, you've got that power, but it's just silky smooth. It is silky smooth. The brakes on it are absolutely fabulous on this bike, and I mean fabulous. One of the best sets of brakes I've ever ridden on bikes. And I've ridden sports bikes. They are good for the size of this bike and for what it is. They are superb. The build quality on it, typical Honda, isn't it? You're never gonna fail Honda. Although, there's little bits now. It's like, again, you're on a bike with my NC, there's bits there that are showing rust, but it gets used hard. But it's these little touches, they're just, you know what I mean? They could have just done it all black, but they've just lifted it up that little bit of red to go with it. It does lift it. LED lighting all the way around. Now, there's a really good review on Bennett's, I think it is, or MCN. And they're saying they changed the throttle spring in it from the old one, so the old one's a lot more thumpy and a lot more snatchy than this. I don't know, because I've never ridden the old one. This is the first Africa Twin I've ever ridden, and I'm going to have my brew. I'm going to get my gear on, and we're going to go for a ride. Have my second ride on it. It's like I say, the truth about bikes is, the more you ride them, the more you love them, or the more you dislike them. The more you get to know what you like or what you don't. And I nearly bought the Africa Twin on a whim. And without riding it. And it's something I never do. And I nearly did do it before Christmas last year. And I'm glad now that I've had this opportunity to do this, because I know which bike I would have when I went out again. And I know this really does sound negative, but it's not. It is really. It's like I've sat on many bikes and loved many bikes, and some are, you take them or leave them. This is a bike I would have, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Let me know your thoughts anyway. So the next thing we'll do, we'll get out riding on it. We'll take it down the lanes and we'll see. And as I say, I really do hope there is an Africa Twin rider out there who can possibly come out for a couple of hours with us. We can have a flirt down the lanes, a flirt on the motorway, and we can video it and see. You can really see it next to each other, because I think there is. It's a very, very strange thing that there is a big following for Africa Twins, and there is a big following for NCs. NCs are really, the more and more that the NC forums are growing. And I think it's just the fact the NC is lighter, it's more practical, it's cheaper to run, and that frunk on it, that frunk on the Africa Twin, on the Nc750, just absolutely. It's the best thing Honda fitted. To be honest, I don't understand why bikes can't do it. Why they don't lose the tanks, put them underneath, and do that. I don't understand it, because I go out on mine now, and I just think, I won't be without it. I just wouldn't. Right, let's come back to you. Right, my lovely tubers. How hard is it going to be getting the Africa Twin out of the gate? Oh, put the stand up on it. It's actually not that bad. It is bigger, it is heavier as I go around there, but no, easy enough. You'd have to get, there's no ifs or buts, you'd have to get a centre stand for that bike. Certainly if you wanted to do maintenance on it yourself and bits and pieces like that. Right, let's just put that there. And what a day. The rain's gone away, the sun's come out. I've got a good 4 or 5 hours to ride on it. And what does she look like in the sunshine? Absolutely beautiful, even though she's dirty. I'm sorry about yesterday as well. On the last video, when I went over that big bump, my camera dropped down. So that's what she's really like. She is a beautiful, beautiful bike. She's, without doubt for me, it is one of the nicest looking bikes on the road. It's like a pair of evil eyes looking at you there, isn't it? Look at them looking through them kamikaze glasses. So, rain's coming. Getting on it, for me, 5'10", 29-inch leg, 1 foot flat, the other one not touching the floor. I can do it with my tiptoes, knees at 45 degrees, really comfortable. Takes a long time for this to get. I think Honda need to improve that, to be honest. Oh, how has it spoilt it now, the rain? It was supposed to stay nice today. Let's stick her in drive and let's take her. So this is 320 days, 330 days of blighty, isn't it? This is the way you're going to ride this bike. This is what you're going to be in. You may have, well, 6 weeks of nice sunshine in Britain. This is the way you're going to be on the bike. The brakes on it are fabulous. There's no ifs or buts. And they're new. It's a brand new bike. Not been out before. So the brakes are not even bedded in properly. A much higher, more prominent position than the NC. Well, it feels it, even though there's not much difference in seat height when you sat on it, believe it or not. I think the it's about 830 on the NC. This is about 834, 835. Oh, what is this now? This ain't cricket, people. We might as well be in Lords with the amount of water that's there. Slow speed. She's good, but she is top heavy at slow speed. Really, it's nice though. It's a lovely bike to balance on. Well, we've definitely picked the day to come out riding on a bike, haven't we? You want reviews on the Honda Africa Twin? You can really see it now, what it's going to be like in this weather. And it glides round bends. It's a lovely position on it. It's like I say to people, it has got more power than the NC, more grunt down low. But I think the NC, if you work the NC, would keep up with it. You know, you'd have to put a bit more juice into the NC to do it. But this is, without doubt, because it's you know, it's another 400 cc's. It's a much bigger engine. It's going to be more powerful. It's going to have more torque. So, you know, let's be sensible out that. The 750, I mean, I actually think the Nc750 is probably underpowered by about 15 brake horsepower for a 750. But you know, this is a topic I go over and over again in my head, because the Nc750, even as it is now, is ample. It will take you anywhere. It will pick you up to motorway speeds. It will do anything you want it to do. It doesn't fail in anything. We want more because we sit on bikes like this, which has more. So we want to try and compete with this. And really, it's not a competition. They are different bikes. I mean, like I've said many times on my channel, I'm not a keeper of bikes, but the NC, just like the FZ6 that I've got in my garage, the Phaser, are bikes that I've kept on going back to, because the bikes I found astounding for riding. I found them reliable and enjoyable. You know, where I can go out all day, and when I ride out, when I go out for days out, I go out all day. I don't mess about with a quick ride to, you know, half an hour there and half an hour back. I can be in that seat for 12 hours. I love it to. The more you get used to it, when you come to stop, you can feel the weight at the front of it on the brakes. But it's not uncomfortable that way. It's quite balanced. The bike is really balanced when you come to stop. We'll go on the motorway. We went on it yesterday. We'll go on it in the real. And now it's like when you're down low on this, I mean, I'm in tour mode, it's very thumpy, very juddery, still pulling, but the NC at this speed is a lot smoother. And that's what I say, that different aspects of different parts of the motor when you're riding. Now when you're pulling on, you can feel the juice coming on. I would get, this is where the power comes in on this. That's where the power comes in compared to the NC. The NC would be dropping it down a gear. And it's in 6th gear this, and it feels like it needs another gear. But, oh, it's just, you get caught a bit in the wind on this, without doubt. On the motorways, if you were to ride this between this and the NC, you'd find the NC a lot more. It's a lower bike, so it's not going to absorb the wind like this does. You're in an action rider, aren't you, on this? So don't slate it for that. It's like the Transalp. The Transalp was the same. You feel like you're out in the wind more. It does pull you about a bit more, but nothing that would, you know, it's not going to drag you off the bike. It's just going to move you on the higher winds. You just relax your body and, you know, take your time. We'll live anywhere. You know, it's got that one big thing on it. Bit heavier in the bends. You can feel the difference with it. But again, the other thing with it, this has got a big 21-inch front wheel on it. The NC has got the 17, and I'm really shocked, because if you ride a bike with a big front wheel, which are really designed for off-road, aren't they? That's what they're really designed for. They're normally slower at turning into bends. This isn't like that. So what the new Africa Twin with a 19-inch wheel is like, that'll be interesting to see. Well, this is what it's about, people. Standing up on it, look at that. So you're doing 50 miles an hour, standing up on it. It's like sitting there, it's amazing. It's just such a comfortable bike. And I'll tell you what, it's better than the NC for looking over edges. You can certainly see more on these pegs. Fabulous. These bikes, people, are party bikes. The bikes, when you get on, you're just going to smile. There's no, you know, you're not a loser whatever bike you buy. You're a winner. Whether you buy this, if you've got the deep pockets to buy this Africa Twin, or the Hornet. The Hornet, again, another bike, completely road biased, a fabulous bike. You know, that is definitely a hooligan bike round the lanes. Get over 6,000 revs on it, and you just hang on for dear life. Again, superb suspension. The Transalp, you know, another amazing bike. I've been fortunate to ride them. But the one thing about them all, they're comfortable, they're reliable, and they'll give you a smile on your face. They are. This Honda range, in a certain range of these bikes, are fabulous. Is that the big GS? Let's go near him. Let's see if we can put them next to each other and see. Actually, howdy, mate. Just measuring them up. Just measuring them up. The height, they're near enough the same, aren't they? Lovely bikes. Pardon? Have you had it long? This is only a demo bike. Yeah, but it's lovely. A lot of gizmos going on, but I love it. Yeah, it's good. It's a DCT though, it's a big auto. Some people love them, some people hate them. Pardon? Oh, it's buttery smooth. I had the old GS, the old air-cooled one, many years ago. Loved it, did like it. Oh. Gone down to smaller sizes. I'm on the Nc750 now. So the mine's gone in for service, so they give me that to have entice me onto it. But, do you know something? I can't believe, because it's 238 to 243 kilograms, and it moves really easy. It's like, have you had a different stamp on yours? Have you raised it? Because my old one used to lean over like that lot. I thought you said no, too far there. Yeah, well, my older one went further than that. Did go further than that, but that's the thing with them. It needs to be a bit more upright. But too much going on there for me. Yeah, that's, you know, for me, I love the DCT. For the ride of it, it's superb, buttery smooth. Like it is like BMWs, they're just buttery smooth. Watered and fed in our favourite calf, the 4-ways calf grill. J&S, and now back on the mighty ends Africa Twin, keep it going in the NC, and let's go out and do our final bit of a run on it. Dead honest people, I've really enjoyed riding this bike. It has been actually one of my favourites to ride. It's one that I've wanted to ride for a long time because, like I said in the first video out, it really was between this and the NC. And now I know in my mind what I want. And we haven't done a lot of miles, people, on it. I wouldn't say we've done 60 miles on it, and we're down to just over half a tank. So I don't think it's as frugal as what it's let out to be honest. So I think the range on this bike is about 250. Maybe wrong, but I mean it's 250 smile miles, whatever way it is. I've not used the cruise control on it either yet, so there's cruise control on this bike, which is there. And we were just sat next to a GS boy there. I went and measured up the bikes next to each other. You could see that look from the GS riders, though. It's no, you're on a Honda, I've got a GS. So anyone that knows me, I've got to do a bit of a wind up. I love to prod the bear, as they call it. And I'm not being funny, I've owned a GS, so they're a fantastic bike. You never ever, for me. Now let's just go on to one thing here, and I'll be dead straight with you. The GS 850, that in dynamic mode, it feels much quicker than this bike, much quicker. That GS 850 that I rode, that is one bike as a manual bike I would consider having, because it is a fabulous bike, and the road holding on it, and the actual
I mean, I got a video, it never got many views, but it is, you know, all the big tubers again underrating it. For me, it's better than the 1200. It was much better bike than the 1200, but it was a new one. You know, I've not ridden the new 1250, I've not ridden the 1300, and undoubtedly, you know, if you start getting, again for me, electronics are now overtaking the actual riding of the bike. You know, I'm not interested in that. I just want to ride the bike. That's what I want to do. I want to get on it, and it's like now. I don't want to actually be setting warp drive and setting destinations to the stars. I want to ride my bike and enjoy it. This is what I like now. Looking round, look at them hills, feeling the wind in your face. I think this bike does it very well, to be honest. It's like I say, this is a bike, people, you'd enjoy, but it is a really torquey bike. It's much more torquey than the NC, and like I say now there, this has got a lot of tug, but that's what it's doing. It's in 6th gear and it still wants to go, it still wants to go, it still wants to go. Do you want that in your bike? You know, it's like I've said previously, the NC, when you get to, when you get to 70, 80, really 80, then it's peaking out. And sometimes you just feel like, oh, it could just do with that little bit more juice. It needs that bit more torque. Where this bike doesn't. This bike wants to, you need another gear. You need, this would, I suppose, would be fabulous with a 7 or 8 speed gearbox in it, because I think this would smoothen out again. As I say, talking from my personal views and my very short time in this bike and on this bike, I love it. I love the bike. I think the bike's lovely. Hi people, my final review on the Africa Twin. I'm taking it back now. Solid, lovely, dependable bike. Absolutely love it. Lovely to ride. Certainly don't think it shows I know on the stats whether it's the one with the bigger tank. It does 310 miles range. I haven't done probably 100. I haven't done 100 miles on this bike, and I'm down to under half a tank. So the actual cost of running this bike would be a lot more than the NC. There's no ifs or buts. So let's compare it that way. It's an absolute fabulous bike to ride, and I think it's one that definitely suits off-road better than an NC would ever suit it. But the realism of it is, for people who are not doing green lanes and are just doing roads and going out and riding like this, this bike just offers pure torque all the way through the range. That's what this bike offers. It offers power all the way through. Offers exceptionally good braking. It's very comfortable. You know what, I've been in the seat over 2 hours now on this, and it's a comfortable bike. The prominent position of it, sat up straight, fabulous again. You know, there's not many negatives. It's certainly not as quick as the GS 850 in dynamic mode. The suspension on it isn't as good as the GS's suspension, if you want to go down that line. But the DCT leaves that bike for dead. That's what stands out for me on this bike again. The DCT on this bike just sets it apart from all the others. But my honest and final review of this bike, if I was going to the showroom, would it be the NC or would it be this? And it would be the NC. And I'll tell you why. The NC is just more practical. I've got a frunk. That frunk, you don't realise how good that frunk is. It's so useful. I've got exceptional, and I mean exceptional, fuel economy on it. You know, for £16, and we'll fill this up, I'll be doing 250 miles upwards, even 275 on £16 worth of E5 petrol. For me, your 0 to 60 on the NC would keep up with this bike. Even with all its power, it would keep up with it. It would lose it after that. The torque on this would just keep it going. But the difference on this bike is it's torquey all the way through. It's like it needs another 2 gears. And the more you ride it, it's quite a buzzy bike. The gearbox is smooth and it is absolutely wonderful. But the bike it's wanting to pull all the time. And again, like now, it's a much bigger bike. These bars feel a lot bigger for filtering with, and this is for me, people. So a lot of people who own these bikes will ride them at a weekend or ride them in nice weather. I ride a bike every day. That's what I ride, and that's what, if I bought this bike, that's what this bike would be expected to do. Take me to and from work, through heavy traffic. And I've got to put a back box on it to carry my goods. I don't have that with the NC. So even though I compare the two bikes, they're not of the same ilk. The NC, yeah, it needs, well, it would be better with better suspension, it would be better with better brakes, it would be better with a nicer clear dash like this. But truthfully, it doesn't need it. Truthfully, it doesn't need it, because the speeds I've ridden this bike around Old Cheshire today is exactly the same speeds what I'd be riding my NC. And you know, it's like now I'm putting half a tank in this, over half a tank. On the NC it would have only probably hit 1 bar, 2 bars. I'd have been above half a tank. Well, I'd have been 3/4, and that's honestly, people. But I wouldn't say don't come and ride one of these, don't come and buy one of these, because you would not be unhappy with it. Right, and that is the final. It's fabulous. It's a lovely bike. I've really appreciated riding it. But for me, it's the NC. So sorry, people. And it'd be great, you know, if you're an Africa Twin rider and you want to ride an NC, get in the seat, do it. You'll be amazed. And the same vice versa. You may get an NC rider that sits in one of these and converts. Tommy, who I ride with a lot, he's an ex-Africa Twin rider. He owned an Africa Twin. So I've really enjoyed it. I've really appreciated that Yules have let me use the bike. It's been fabulous. But to be honest, people, I'm looking forward to getting back on the NC, because it is the bike I truly do love. I love it to bits. Oh, look, we're back on the mighty NC with a dash that I understand. There we go. Oh, I wonder if they've touched the brakes on it, because that brake feels better. That front brake feels a lot better. And again, you know, you want to talk about a bike that when you put your throttle down, it can go.